don't know it's on. It looks like it's on, but there you go. Today's guest is from Oakland, California. He went to Fresno State University before heading to the Tennessee Titans, then north to the BC Lions. He's a four-time CFLPA All-Star. He's CFL All-Star in 2008, two-time Grey Cup champ, finished his career with 33 picks. That's INTs. If you don't know, 3 defensive touchdowns. Welcome to the show, Dante Marsh. What up?
What's going on, Nick?
Man, I'm good. I always wonder, like, how people feel after hearing all that. Because I know we don't always go back. I don't ever go back and really look at my stuff, but when you can hear it, how's it feel?
I got goosebumps.
Did you?
Like, yeah. So me and you have had battles, not all the time against each other one-on-one, but nonetheless the battles, right? So for most of my career up there, I always was in grind mode. Like I ain't really tripped, you know what I'm saying? I was always trying to just be the best at my position, right? So, you know, towards the end and even now, like I had a bin I had out of storage, and I found jerseys and boxes of cards and newspaper clippings, and then this past spring, I got an email from the CFL Hall of Fame Museum, and they was like, you know, you're nominated, et cetera, et cetera. So now when I look back and sometimes I'll post like highlights and stuff, I'm like, dang, I was pretty good, huh? So you know what I mean? Because you never know how other people view you, right? So like, Appreciate, Romby, Kenyon, like on social media, if there's a post or old video or any type of thing related tying me to football, those guys who are my peers and guys I competed against, to let them express how they feel about you, like it's a respect, and it's like, you know what I mean, like a genuine, like, dude, I knew I had to come on my A game because you was on your shit, like vice versa. So it feel different, like, because you never know, because we always be talking shit like, man, fuck me, man. But
hey, boy, that was some most shit talking as games. It's like everybody on y'all's defense talk. Talk.
Yeah.
It was just like, man.
But the respect was there though. That's what I'm saying.
100%.
So it wasn't never like, this motherfucker, man, fuck him. Because you'll be hating at that point.
Yeah.
So, like, that was, it just feel good to hear. I don't know, it feel different when somebody else that you competed against at that level, who was a great player at that level as well, that you competed against, you know, say those type of things about you and praise you and really give you your flowers, so to speak. It's that shit hit different.
So question.
Yes, sir.
4-time CFLPA All-Star. Is that different than the regular All-Star?
Yeah.
Like, which one do you think means more?
That one, because we vote for that one, if I'm not mistaken. The players vote.
The players vote.
I got snubbed a bunch of times.
I never was a PA All-Star.
Are you serious?
Never. Because, I mean, I used to bully DBs, and I used to be, you know, on my, you know me, I used to punch people in the face. I used to talk. But I never made the CFLPA All-Star team. Never.
Wow.
I just took it as a respect thing that you hate me that much.
No.
Because if you look at the list, I was always on the list, like the top 10 list of guys hardest to bring down, toughest competitor, trash talker, you know, score from anywhere. Like, I was always on those lists. But when it came to that PA All-Star.
But you know what, though, Nick? Like, for me, because they put articles out, I know, Lowell Ulrich and BC a bunch of times. Like, in the year that I got all of them, it was me and Brandon Browner. I only had one interception that year, I think. Or two interceptions. Like, I didn't, you know, because, you know, they based this shit off whatever. But that 2008, that's when I made all of them, and I didn't even feel like that was, like, my best season to that point. I thought the first Grey Cup we won that 06 year, because I signed Kansas City right after that temporarily when Herman Edwards got in there. And I thought, 06, I thought that was my year. Like, I made West, but anyway, you know how that shit go, man. I thought you was on there a bunch of times.
I think I was 6-time CFL All-Star, but never a PA All-Star. But, you know, everybody views it different.
Yeah.
right? I was a bully. I understand how I played the game. I played the game like a bully, right? But there's a lot of people, but there's a lot of great receivers in CFL. So I never really took it as disrespect if you voting for Rambo or you vote for Cope or you voting for Fred Stamps or Jamel Richardson or
All played different spots. Like
yeah,
Kenyon played inside initially, remember? And then
yeah, yeah.
eventually moved out to the X. And then
Mm-hmm.
same with Romby, like you move him around, but you was always in that slot, whether it be in the boundary sometimes or that field number 3. So it, like, for me, I really wasn't, like, for me, like, I'm just picking 5 DBs. I don't give a shit. Like,
Yeah,
of course, I know guys that play safety, but I had to look at it like, shit, I'm the GM, I'm the coach. I'm picking
yeah.
the 5 guys who I believe was the guys. Like, you can't all this choppy and we're, because that kind of exclude guys too, and then you have the ratio too. So
Yep.
there's no way in hell you ain't make this. Nah. So I'm telling you, because I know I
I
played.
appreciate it.
I'm seeing like, yeah, I don't like this motherfucker, but I can't hate. Like, that's because that's the competitive nature. We hated Calgary. Y'all hated us.
Yeah.
It was a Wally left thing too, so that added to it. And when y'all finally start spending that money on defense, y'all became a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, Calgary always had offense, but we'll edge them out because I remember I got one of my first picks was you had came late. I think that was my first year in 04.
No, I was there at 04. Yeah.
From the beginning. Okay.
Yeah.
So Kahari was still there, and we
Corey
played
Jones.
Yep.
So it had to be like week 17.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then he overthrew the receiver, and I can't remember who was playing the X back then. I picked
Glacial Sanford.
Yeah. So it just that right there, that
You
old
remember we won that game though, right?
Yeah, but we went all the way.
I know. I was on the sidelines. I seen that. But we won that game though.
Y'all did y'all? Okay.
Remember we had the threw the ball to Juhas. He punted it.
Yeah.
Behind him and took off running and got to
Right,
touch.
but they said we won it, but really y'all won the game.
Yeah. They said he wasn't on sides.
Right, I remember.
But, that's the way it worked though. Sometimes we only won 4 games anyway. We wasn't going to we played Winnipeg the last week of the season, and neither one of us had a chance to go.
But y'all had firepower on that offense, man.
Yeah.
But it was you. Y'all had Cope still.
No, 04? 04 was what?
Cope was in Montreal.
Yeah, Wayne McGarity, Albert Connell.
Yes.
Joffrey had just got there a couple weeks before. We had Ronnie Jenkins.
Ronnie Jenkins from BYU. Yep.
Ooh, yeah. Then we got David Allen the next year, and
y'all had squad.
Yeah.
Y'all had squad. So no, man. Like I said, it was a plethora of great receivers. And I had to adjust to the game because I was always quick. And my first year up there, 04, in the first few games, they wanted me and Sam up out of there. But because it was like
Sam Young?
Yeah, you tear it up in preseason and you ball it. And then my confidence was kind of so on one because I was in the NFL, man. I got hurt and then it was over. Like I ain't supposed to be here because I was ignorant to the fact of the talent until I got. And I'm like, oh. 3rd, 4th game of the season, I'm covering Andre Rison. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, Bad Moon was there.
Yeah, so me only knowing, like, prior to me coming up there, I'm only knowing about Jeff Garcia, obviously, because I'm from Oakland and he played in San Francisco, so we knew that whole story. He a Bay Area guy.
Yep.
And I knew the Warren Moon story, and I knew Doug Flutie, and I knew Rocket Ismail. Other than that, I didn't really know too much about Canada until I got up there, and I was like, this shit real. They get to run at you like, man.
Yeah, we're going to get into that.
Yeah.
Have you been watching the NFL?
Yeah, I was just in there watching some of the Raider games.
You still a Raider fan?
They will always be the Oakland Raiders, Nick. They could be on Pluto. See, look, this is what people don't understand. I got the symbol tattooed on my back. Like, if you from Oakland, you a Raider. It's synonymous with the city. It ain't so much the team. Oakland, you talking about Huey P. Newton, the Black Panther Party. You talking about the Pointer Sisters, Hammer.
MC Hammer.
Yeah, Short. You talking about Bill Russell went to my high school because me and Smitty went to the same high school.
Really?
Yeah. McClymonds High School. It's Bill Russell went there. We got one of the MC Hammer went there.
Y'all was there at the same time?
No, Smitty younger than me.
Yeah, I know younger. How old is Smitty? 36, 35?
Somewhere around there. I just seen him a couple months ago. Yeah, he younger than me because I'm 41. So yeah, I'm class of '97. I think Smitty like 03 or something like that.
Okay.
So
yeah, that sounds about right.
So many, Roy Shivers went to my high school. So
Roy need to be in the Hall of Fame too.
And that part. So no, it's going back to that. Being from Oakland is a special thing. So, they moved when I was like 4 to LA when LA borrowed them. And even then I was a Raider fan. It was just something about it. And then when they moved back, we was all excited. And for me, I don't give a damn where they at. They always the Oakland Raiders. It's silver and black. That's just what it is.
You gonna go watch them play?
I got to get to a game. That stadium off the chain, brother.
Yeah, what's it called? The Death Star?
Allegiant Field or some shit.
Yeah,
it's
that's
nice.
gonna be.
It's nice.
Man, they got to open Vegas back up, man. This COVID got Vegas shut down.
Oh man, but see,
maybe this is what they need for the first year.
They do, but yeah, because okay, so to that point, I know where you're going with this. So it's stupid to me to take the team from Oakland a second time because you're taking them to Vegas and you talking about prostitution, you talking about drugs, you talking about gambling, betting. That wasn't a good, that wasn't a smart move. I don't think anyway. For me, as a pro team owner, I wouldn't have took my team.
I think they're talking about money though in a new stadium. I think Oakland wasn't giving them enough money in the city to build a new stadium, and I think that's where it came from.
Right.
And when you got guys like Jerry Jones and those guys, man, they're always gonna push to maximize the dollar.
Right. And I've been to that stadium in Dallas.
Yeah.
Money well spent.
Yes, it is.
But no,
and Oakland doing good, man. They up by 7 right now. 3 minutes to go in the third.
24-17. Yeah. So
yeah.
I mean, yeah, the Oakland Coliseum deal, and Al Davis had issues dating back to the 80s, man. He was on one. He was one of them dudes, and he don't get it. I don't think he get the credit he deserves for all the great things he spearheaded for the National Football League, like the AFL and the NFL merger. Him and Mr. Hunt with the Chiefs. First Latino head coach. Native American Super Bowl winning quarterback from the Bay, Jim Plunkett. And back in the day, all those dudes were cast-offs. They was like bust other play. Rich Gannon was a journeyman until he got.
He was.
You know what I mean? And then he's winning MVP of the league. So the Raiders always hold a special place in my heart because, man, it's town business, man. You know what I'm saying? Yada da. Yeah.
Man, when you talk about Short, man, and those guys from the Bay Area, man, that's just E40 and like it's just a different vibe. I've never been to California.
For real?
Never. I'm coming. Trust me, I'm coming.
Hey Nick, real quick, you from the Lone Star State, so and see Oakland. A lot of Southern people get down with cats from Oakland because we all migrated from the South way back when.
Yep.
We're very receptive to it. It's like a lot of people don't know this history that, the Bay Area is deep enriched in especially in the rap game too. So Master was not talking about New Orleans when he first came out. He was living in this little city in the Bay Area called Richmond, California.
Yep.
That's where he learned the game from Short and 40 and all them dudes back in the early 90s, and he bubbled with it. Texas, I fool with Texas. I'm a UGK fan. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Scarface will always be in my top 5 MCs. I think Face still at 50-something years old is one of them dudes. I take it on down to Memphis. I'm an 8-Ball and MJG fan. I'm very well versed in the music. Go ahead.
Have you heard Toby Anigwe?
Yes, fire.
Ooh.
Fire. Killy, how you pronounce my man name? Killer Callejon?
Yeah, Killer Callejon.
Hey, bruh, I did not know he had gasoline like that till I started following him on Instagram. I didn't know that.
Houston just just the whole Houston, Port Arthur, that area, man. That's just Dallas had a couple, but Dallas ain't never had, now you got what's his name? That's on me, baby. Yellow Beezy.
Yeah.
Yellow Beezy be hitting a couple of them, but back in the day we had with Crook for Life and Mr. Lucci and Mr. Pookie and
Y'all
those
know
guys.
y'all got a famous Bay Area rapper that's really from Texas. A lot of people don't know this.
Who was that?
Spice One.
Really?
Spice One is from Corsicana, Texas.
I didn't know that.
Yes, Spice One moved to the Bay Area as a youngster and started claiming the Bay, man. And Short put him on, and it was on and popping. He's from Texas.
What is that? It's hip hop. What's it called? Off was on Netflix. I think Hip Hop Evolution or something like that. And they talk about the
different regions.
Yeah. You watch that?
Yep.
Dude, music is just such a different vibe, man. Because I listen to everything. So depending on my mood,
listen to country too, though.
I love country.
When I heard that, I
love country.
Hey, it's not to cut you off, Nick. It's a dude. I think I want to say from the H. I just got hip to him. This brother is uber, super, duper talented. He got a grill and everything. He sing country. He sing R&B. His name is T Dash.
Yeah.
Hey, that brother talented, man.
Dude,
he fire.
Dude, country. Okay, so my musical game, like, I go R&B or country more than anything. I can go hip hop whenever I'm like going to. If I want to go hang out, I'm gonna go hip hop.
Right.
When I go out, I like to listen to hip hop mostly. It just puts me in that mood. But one time I'm just a laid back dude. I'm really not as loud as I am in public. Yeah. So I'm usually listening to country music when I'm driving or R&B. Right. That's usually what I'm listening to most of the time. So I don't really, mess with too much. Toby Anigwe, he keep it there. I listen to him. I do like. I listen to Short. I listen to Kendrick.
Yes.
And those guys. Man, there's some guys down south that I listen to. I can't believe I'm forgetting his name right now. But man, what is his name? I put him with Toby and Andre 3000.
Hey, I can't forget Outkast, man. I lived in the A for 7 years.
Yeah.
Anything. See, for me, the South, right?
Yep.
Like as a youngster, so I'm coming up in the 80s and 90s. So obviously, NWA here, you know what I mean? Too Short for everybody, and like Too Short anywhere. Like I'm living in Atlanta in a lounge where nobody's up. It was kind of mellow. Blow the Whistle came on. That shit went. And that's one of his old. So that's one song of many. This dude he spanned 4 decades. But I used to sneak in my sister's room and play the Born to Mac album, Freaky Tale.
These are the tales, the freaky tales. These are the tales that I tell so well.
It's dudes like that's grandparents that's what I'm saying. And I was having these debates with these youngsters. I said, listen, man, if you are born after 1995, you can't debate music or because you don't know shit. I said my grandfather from Mississippi, Macomb, Mississippi, moved to California in the 40s. He know who Too Short is, and he 93 years old. These little dudes y'all talking about, and that's what I had to tell him. I said, people know who Too Short is. People know who Snoop Dogg is. They don't know Lil Baby, Da Baby, and all these are in the Migos.
But they're like weekly songs, though. They're songs for a week.
Yeah.
There's not generational songs anymore.
Exactly my point. I said, listen, I can play y'all some music from 1996, and that shit will sound like it came out yesterday.
Especially Missy Elliott.
Bruh, that Timbaland on the track, hey. So I said.
Did you hear what happened at the Super Bowl a couple years ago when Katy Perry brought Missy Elliott out? Like Twitter and Instagram went crazy. It was like Katy Perry's gonna make this girl famous one day.
Oh yeah, and they not knowing she was already on.
Come on, man, she's 20 years in the game at this point. 25.
That girl writing for Keisha Cole, Jasmine.
Everybody. Who I was thinking about, Big Crit.
Yes.
Big Crit. Killer Mike be going hard. Dude, there's so many. And you see the game has changed, but you still have those guys that are so lyrical. And that's what I love, the lyricists, man, that can go out there and just put it down.
Okay, so real quick. So J. Cole too. So real quick. I was not a Jay-Z fan. Growing up so I'm 41. So coming up, and you ain't too far from me, but so you'll understand. What you 82?
Yep.
So we the same exactly.
Yeah.
Talking about the New York cats wasn't cussing on albums back then. It was like NWA, Two Live Crew, Too Short,
Eric B.
Ice-T,
Yeah.
and a couple, maybe one or two.
Rakim, and
maybe one or two dudes in New York was cussing. But when Pac said, fuck Jay-Z, Biggie, all them dudes, really, like, I don't even know. I wasn't fooling with them. Like, it's death row against the world, right? And they made it that whole East Coast, West Coast thing. And, Pac claimed Oakland because he used to hang with Richie Rich, and he got his start with Digital Underground and was a road, like, so he moved out here, and really, Oakland showed me the game. He loved it, right? So long story short is this. I didn't become a Jay-Z fan until my rookie year. I was in Tennessee with the Titans, and I was in the barber shop. And that first Reasonable Doubt album came out. No, not Reasonable Doubt. The first Blueprint. Reasonable Doubt is a classic, so they say. I didn't fuck with that. And Blueprint came out, I became a Jay fan. And listen to me, man. He has surpassed Biggie because his catalog is ridiculous. Biggie don't have enough catalog. So in terms of just the East Coast, like King, Jay-Z, dog, I'm sorry. I can't go against that. When I say artist, so there's levels, right? So Nas is one of them dudes.
Yeah.
He one of them dudes. Scarface is always, he just such a good storyteller, and I just love that, man, you know what I mean? And when we talk about lyrical, Pac wasn't the most lyrical dude.
No, but he got a vibe though.
Like, exactly, he could give you these stories, and you will, like, if Pac would be like, Nick, let's go ride on these fools, you'll be like, okay. I'm just saying that's the type of the aura he had.
It's like Titty Boy wasn't even doing much, had a little bit. Then he changed his name to 2 Chainz, and then he got a vibe. And then it just, now you listen to 2 Chainz, it's a vibe. You know what I'm saying? I'm not listening to anything trying to be super lyrical. Like, I just got a vibe when I listen to him.
Like,
he is.
2 Chainz got bars.
But I mean, he grew up, he came on with Lil Wayne.
Right. I remember.
So he was in that whole Wayne clique. Wayne's a lyricist, right? Wayne's one got Drake doing what he do and Nicki doing what she was doing and all of them, like, yeah.
See, Wayne for me, because we came up watching Wayne grow from Hot Boys and
Wayne Turk.
Yep.
I was, BG and
yeah. So, it's funny that you say that because there's a lot of these young guys that really don't know the history. And watch this. I'll make the parallel to sports, right? So I'm a Michael Jordan fan. I've watched LeBron play in person, and that dude is phenomenal. He's 6'8", chiseled, could be like a ultimate tight end. Like, he's everything you could want in an athlete. But you will not, I repeat, you will not try to say he's the GOAT over Michael Jeffrey Jordan. I'm just not
a chance.
For one, in the 80s and the 90s, that was the greatest decades for NBA basketball, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It was physical. So I go back to the video game, right? NBA Jams.
Yep.
Every team had like 2 or 3 stars on it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, man, I ride with my man from Brookfield, you know what I'm saying, playing up there in Portland. Dame Dollars be going ham. But I just can't, I just get tired of arguing with these millennials because they don't do the history, Nick. And if you want to be great, like, I was born in 79. Mel Blount career was pretty much over by that point. Yeah. I knew who the hell Mel Blount was. 6'3", Hall of Fame, steel curtain, like, because we used to collect football cards. And if you wanted to be great, and that you loved it, you studied it, dog.
Yeah.
Just don't do none of that. I asked my players, give me 5 of I want you to write me a half paragraph on your 5 best DBs from any era. They come back, the Honey Badger. They come back with all these new dudes. And I'm like, dude, y'all want to know one of the best DBs I've ever watched? It's Charles Woodson.
Yeah. Hey, man, Wood at Michigan.
Yes.
Even his whole career, but at Michigan,
yes,
the way he did work, there's not too many people in college football that can shut it down.
That ever did that. And line up and punt return and do it. It's special, dog.
So I in the NBA, I think in the 80s and 90s, I think teams 1 through 5 were better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You had 1 through 5 was better. Now I think the guys are more talented.
Yeah.
But talent doesn't always mean better.
Thank you. I'm so glad.
Right?
Saying this, man.
Because in the day I was like, okay, let's go back and compare. Right? If LeBron's team was in the East with Sean Kemp and Gary Payton and Hershey Hawkins and Detlef Shrimp
Yes.
and all them boys, was he winning that series? Would they even beat the Cavaliers with Craig Elo and Brad Daugherty and Larry Nance and, you know, Mark Price? And so when you go back in the Knicks, right, with Anthony Mason, Charles Oakley, Patrick Ewing, John Starks, Mark Jackson, right? When you go back and look, like, yeah, the fours back then were pretty much like most of them were hitmen, but they can still play basketball. They're gonna play defense. It was so hard to score 100 20 years ago.
Well, here's the other thing too, Nick. You're not beat back then. Okay, I'll throw up to one of my OGs, Gary Payton, the glove. I'm gonna tell you, he was not finna come down and shoot from damn near half court uncontested, brother. They playing, you getting them elbows, you getting the hand checked.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, and I, like I said, the same way we're having this conversation about basketball. I had to talk to these young cats about the receivers and the DBs. I said, listen, brother. Yes, guys because there's guys like me who coach, who played at that high level and train, giving y'all this sauce at an early age. Y'all paying us to get you prepared. We didn't have that. I was a running back. They was like, play corner, play. I was like, all right. So I said, yes, people are bigger, faster, stronger, but that don't always mean better. You got guys fine, Nick, who run a 4.3. You get them out there on the football field, and a 4.8 tight end could put them in the blender. Because they don't have no hips or nothing else. So we can't just say, oh, he's run a 4.3. Oh, he can jump out. That doesn't always equate to better production and a better receiver, because Jerry Rice ran like 4.7.
Yeah, Jerry Rice, Michael Irvin, Steve Largent.
Anquan Bolden.
Anquan Bolden ran 4.81 and had 2 80-yard touchdowns his rookie year.
So that debunks all these. I don't want
to but it's something about that dog. And like, there's not a lot of people that are built with that killer instinct anymore. Like Kobe had the killer instinct. Mike had the killer instinct. You got guys like that, but there's some guys LeBron ain't got it. LeBron didn't even move last night with the game on the line. He's standing like this, hoping somebody gonna make the play.
Hey Nick, so when they played the Warriors, when they won it with KD, that last like 5 minutes,
KD got killer instinct.
Hey, that last 5 minutes of the game, where was LeBron at? KD went to work.
Ooh.
So, I'm just saying, when the game on the line with Michael Jeffrey Jordan and Kobe Bean Bryant, they not passing that ball. They shooting that thing.
You know, I used to be low-key pissed off. I'd break the huddle for the ball. If the ball wasn't supposed to come to me at the end of a game, I'd be pissed off. But see, I'm looking over. I got Cope and Rambo, Elwell, Romby, all those guys. I'm like, you know what? I'd probably throw it to them too if I was a coach, right? But at the end of the day, I'm still pissed off because I know I can make the play.
Definitely.
I believe they going to make the play, but I know I'm going to make the play, right? But that's just the difference. That's the difference in me.
That's the competitive nature. And that's what we always talk about. So me and Bank's like this, man. So we be like, hey man, gotta play Calgary this week in backcourt. Gotta fool with that motherfucking nigga. No, dog. I know, dog. I be like, hey man, if I could get him, I'm gonna hit him for you. I'm gonna get him. So no, y'all brought the best out of us because, you know, it was a West Division rival, and then it had intensified because prior to us getting up there, you know, Wally and the whole Calgary deal going to BC. So it was one of those type deals where, like, early in my career, I was like, Calgary, you know, we gonna get there. But then the table started turning, you know.
There's a 3-year window. Y'all didn't beat us 8, 9, or 10.
Man, it was like, damn, what happened? Like, we should have had, and some people that don't know, take this as being like arrogant, and I would never be. I just speak the real. My 11 years in BC, we shouldn't have 2 Grey Cup rings. We should have at least 4. And
I feel like we should have 5 in Calgary.
I'm gonna say because y'all start running that thing. Like for us, my first year, we lost the DA in Toronto. We was in Ottawa, and he pulled the magic off. That was my first year. The second year,
no, y'all fumbled them punt returns. Lockett kept fumbling them punt returns.
Hey, I just talked to like the other day.
Okay, but I don't know if you know this. So I won Rookie of the Year that year.
Yeah.
Me and Jason Armstead were hanging out on y'all's sideline, down about the 20-yard line, and watched the Grey Cup game.
In Ottawa, y'all was out there?
Yeah, because I won the Rookie of the Year. Jay Stead had played in Ottawa.
That week, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, I had tickets to get in. We got in the game. He goes, let's go down on the field. He's like, I know one of the security guards. So he let us down there. And we stood on the sideline. It was cold.
Yeah.
I remember watching the game from the sideline, man, and I thought y'all was going to win it, honestly. I mean, that year, man, the Casey Printers, Dave, you know what I'm saying? The offense was looking great. Claremont and Paris and G. Roy and everybody. Y'all had everybody. Y'all had all the old Calgary guys with Otis Floyd and everybody and Carl Kidd. And, like, I was like, man, y'all were stacked. Yep. And then, those 2 fumble punt returns. And then I just felt like, I don't know. I just felt like something was missing in the offense.
We didn't have so the 2 fumble punt return. And then I want to say this. It's my personal opinion.
Man, say how you feel. Say it with your chest.
This is my personal opinion. I feel as though Casey should have started that game. And the reason why I say this, Nick, this is why I say this. I know he kind of got banged up a little bit towards the end, but because me and Casey go back to when he was at TCU and I was at Fresno State.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason I say this is because the year he had, this man threw for 5,000 yards. Like
MVP.
Willie Beeman shit it up there. He did it.
Yep.
It's better for that young guy having that MVP season to start the Grey Cup. And if he falters, bring in the savvy vet. That was the guy to begin with. It's better that way versus let me start the vet and then think about putting you know what I'm saying? That was just my opinion because you had the momentum. And I think, and I know Casey real well. He's a good friend of mine. I don't want to speculate, but I'm just saying, I think that was part of the demise of the Casey Printers up in Canada because of he felt he was dealt a certain type of way. And, as a player, and if from the outside looking in, and even from that being me or you in that situation, we'd be like, bullshit. So I'm just saying.
No, I feel you. But I heard also that Casey, like, was at practice during, like, Skelly and stuff. He'd drop back and point at a receiver. He wouldn't throw the ball. I heard he would not throw the ball at practice. Now, I've heard that from players on the team. They said he would not throw the ball at practice. His shoulder was messed up. And, like, for me, going to a game like that, I thought you needed Casey's legs.
Yes.
I thought if Dave would have ran more, it'd have a better chance. Mm-hmm. But Dave's not a runner, right? So I thought Toronto just played they dropped a lot of people, made it hard to throw the ball. Oh, yeah. And if Casey could have been out there and ran, it would have changed. They'd have had to change up their whole defense.
Yeah. Well, like you said, Toronto had some dudes too. You talking about Fletch? You talking about
Ivan,
Wheaton,
O'Shea, Ivory, Steinauer,
JY, like you had guys, Big John Brown, like you had guys. So, they were kind of stacked too. In some of this, it was kind of a similar matchup. You had a lot of, high profile guys on Toronto, and you had, some stalwart dudes in BC. So I just feel like we probably could have won that one. I agree with you on that. And then
I think if he'd have threw the ball at practice though, man, I think they would have started him. That's just me. I wasn't in it. I just talked to some people, and
And
I
see,
thought that was the reason why he didn't start. I don't think it was a Dave or him thing. 'Cause I think Wally would have went with him.
I
Just
don't want to
make him believe.
I'm not gonna make it that. I'm just saying. I'm not making it that. I'm just saying. I'm thinking in my mind. This, and I know, and I am aware he was nicked up. Like I said before, he was banged up now, but it's the Grey Cup, and the man just did what he did. You let that man start that game and see what it is, and then if it ain't what it ain't, I know I got a cat that played 2 years with the Chargers. He's a Hall of Famer.
He's a Hall of Famer. College
So,
football Hall of Fame. He went to College Football Hall of Fame with Randy Moss and Charles Woods.
Yeah. So I'm like, Dave's my guy. So, I mean, it just makes sense. You let the young pup go out there considering he had the MVP season and give him a few series and just see what it is. And then after that, hey, man, hey, go do what you do, Double D. And I think that, to me, a guy that was in that locker room, a young guy, a guy that was, a starter, a guy that was, around.
Did it divide the locker room at all?
I kind of think so. Not for me.
But for some guys were like, well, we want Dave to start. Some guys like, man, Casey should be starting this game.
Exactly, Nick. That's what I'm saying. So, and I'm not on offense. You are guys, so you may feel a different kind. I just wanted to win, and I know some of the things he was able to do that year. That was a magical season for him, and I didn't really care because they both my guys.
Yeah.
But I know he felt slighted because of the way that thing played out. And
being young like that, you can.
Yeah, and I think
everything is. Yeah.
I think it messed his head up too because when he came back, he wasn't the same.
Yeah.
And city shit, he was not the same.
Yeah. I went through that with Drew and KG in 2012 when Drew got hurt, and then KG stepped in, and we ended up going to. We came and played. Drew played the last. They started splitting halves the last two games. KG played the first half. Drew played second. Drew played the first half. KG played second. Then they made a choice. Hub made the choice for Drew to start that Western semifinal against SAS.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got hurt, and then we ended up coming down there to play y'all next week with KG.
Right.
So,
it's one of them things, man. I'm just, for me, I'm blessed and fortunate to have, and teammates with those guys, and very, very high level competitors. And even talking to Dave now, it's like, he's so cool and calm.
Yeah.
Dante, and it's just dope, man. I was really looking forward to coaching the guest coaching. Like we've been trying to talk about it for a couple of years now, and he was like reached out to me and was like, yeah, man, we're gonna fly you up, we're gonna got you, don't worry about it. Set the you guys Secretary of Calgary gave me my itinerary. 3 days later, I don't think it's gonna happen, the whole COVID. I'm like, damn. I'm looking forward to that.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So when everything get back, here's my question. Is the CFL gonna survive?
Yeah, it will.
And I think it will, but here's my thing. And you're a former player, so these have been my thoughts for some years now. Let's talk about monetization. So you have to start paying these players correctly. Because there's money up there. There's a reason why the books weren't turned over when they asked for the loan and all that stuff. And I don't want to scrutinize the league that I played.
Well, I'll say it, damn it. I'll say it like I feel like it is. You know me, I'm gonna say it. This is what I think it is. I think some of the owners dump some of their losses from their companies into the CFL. Now, saying that, I think they make more money by not making money.
Gotcha.
So if I made $1 million in the CFL as an owner, I'd have to pay way more than the $1 million or $2 million that I'm losing in taxes.
Right.
So it's easier for me to lose $2 million in the CFL, which cuts my losses in other companies and pay less taxes. And I say I own a team. Then if I made $1 million in the CFL, it's not enough. I don't make enough money to justify paying more than that in taxes because I'm gonna lose it right back in taxes.
Correct.
Right. So I believe that there's like a little disconnect there because I just think it's got to be better. Right. They're on this line. I don't think the CFL needs 6 owners. I think the CFL needs 1 owner or 2 owners, one for the East, one for the West, or 1 owner, and just have one person run the East, one person run the West, and then just, everybody got a GM, assistant GM, a president, and a VP, and then their staffs, and let it go. Because I think there's too many people getting paid until you can start to build it.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about infrastructure for a second. So my whole thing is, and I'll go back to kind of what I was talking about earlier when you talk about the late great Al Davis and all the things he spearheaded, the AFL merger, and giving, minorities opportunities for these high positions, the head coaching, general manager, quarterback, etc. Right?
Yep.
My whole thing is this. If you force feed it, the people will come. This is the issue I have with the Canadian Football League. You have all these very good American players who had NFL opportunities, were in the league. Myself was. A lot of people were that are NFL caliber players. And like I know, Nick, the NFL ain't what people think it is. So,
nope.
A lot of them players up there can play on these teams and start on these teams if given the right opportunity. So they need to start treating the league like they really care, and they got to take care of the players. Now, there's no way a Nick Lewis should not have his way in Calgary right now. There is no way a Dante Marsh should not have many opportunities in Vancouver, British Columbia. You get what I'm saying? They're selective with who and how they operate with, and they shouldn't be that way. And that's why the league will never blossom and grow to what it could ultimately be, is because they're not maximizing that. It's like they want to keep the turnstile going. Like, well, you can't find a Nick Lewis on every corner in America. If you could, he wouldn't have played all them years. You can't find a Dante Marsh. I played for one of the most shrewdest, cutthroat GMs of all time up there, and 11 straight years for one team. And I was making 6 figures.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like you know what I'm saying, you was giving me anything. I'm pretty sure Wally would have wanted to pay somebody $45,000 opposed to paying me, Ryan, and Corey Banks. So my whole point is, once the CFL decides, hey, we want to be big time, and I personally think they're afraid of bombarding or trying to compete with hockey, and it shouldn't be that way.
Well, I don't think it's all about just competing with hockey, but what I do think is this. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I do think this. I think when you look at the NFL, there's 130 plus million people in the U.S.
Yeah.
Canada, there's 35 million, right? I've seen the change go from a lot of hockey to now there's a lot of football players. People want to grow up and play football, right? I think the biggest misconception is Canadians believe if you go to the NFL, you make millions and you become famous.
Right.
And I tell them all the time, there's 1,700 guys every year, and you probably only know about 150 of them, if that.
Yep.
And there's like the top probably 1% of the NFL is the only ones that make enough money to retire off of when they're done. I know guys that played 7 years in the NFL that's still working today as
Absolutely.
if they played 7 years in the CFL. Nothing changes. You make 700,000, you just buy bigger toys.
That's it.
Right? But I mean, nothing changes. And so I think that it's a big misconception. It's almost like going into a Gucci store and then having a Target right next door, and it could be the same clothes.
Right.
But you're going to value that Gucci over that Target because it came from the same factory.
Yeah.
But you value the name Gucci over it, right? So the misconception is that. But here's the reason why I believe there's a misconception. Because the CFL refuses to market players.
I was about to go to that next. And
that's where I believe that the biggest thing is, because if the kids see the players, if the kids can see them outside of the game, if they can see them all the time, And this is what I'm building. It's coming. If they see him and they know, oh man, if I see Bo Levi Mitchell driving in a 745, right? If I see guys out there making money, taking trips, if I go on somebody's Instagram and it's not just the quarterbacks, right? You got your DBs now that's making money, and you got receivers making money. And I'm not talking $200,000.
Yeah.
I'm talking about making real live cash to where now their lifestyles, these kids are going to say, oh, I can get that lifestyle in the CFL?
Right. But see, that's the thing. This is the thing, Nick, and that's why, and I told myself, I said, I'm going to make money off my signature for the rest of my life. Football.
That's it.
Because I figured out that aspect of it. So that's why I started my DanteMarsh.com. That's why, hey, go get you print out an 8x10, go get it, picture. I sign it, autograph it. Well, I made $11 off that because it blew me away. I was at a mall in Guilford, out in Vancouver.
Yep.
And I saw a 31 BC Lion jersey, and I was like, all happy and shit. But I'm like, because see, let me rewind. The 1 year I got in the NFL, at the end of the year, I got a $6,500 royalty check from the CFLPA.
Yeah.
It was a surprise check. I didn't know. My homeboy that was a draft pick was like, yo, D, you can get your check in? I'm like, man, what check? I was on injury reserve. What you talking about? I only played in the preseason. What you talking about? It's like, no, man, you should have a check coming. It'll be about $6,500. Sure enough, man, a couple days later, I got that check. And it's for licensings and likeness and whatever the case may be. So that's where this league, we need to start seeing those changes go. The other thing I want to talk about is if I have a Nick Lewis on my team and I have a Canadian receiver that's half as good, there's no way that Canadian receiver would make more money than Nick Lewis. I'm sorry. I don't care ratio or not. Let's call it what it is. Yep. I'm saying get rid of the ratio. That's what I believe, because the NFL don't care if you're from Pluto. They want the best of the best. If they could get them, that's what it is going to be. My thing
Canadian fans, man. I'm going to tell you, you're getting tricky. You're getting tricky. I'm telling you, the Canadian fans, man, look, I'll tell you this. I say we should go down to 4 on the ratio.
Yes, I agree.
Keep the number of 21 Canadian players on the team. But here's the thing I think. You should have to be one of the best to play. You shouldn't play just because of your nationality.
That part.
Right? If you go and compete, you will get better.
Yep.
And it, like, for us, it's almost harder to make the CFL than the NFL.
I agree. 100%. I agree.
I've seen good guys get cut because a Canadian got hurt at a different position.
Yep.
Well, now we got to do a Canadian backup at this position. So now we have to cut this guy.
Right. And here's the thing I don't like. You just made that point. If you American, you got to be head and shoulders above better than all, because you steadily competing. Well, if I was Canadian, I wouldn't have to be that good. And that's kind of slight.
But Canadians that come to training camp as a special teamer,
right,
that has no aspirations of being a defensive or offensive player.
And getting paid, though.
Get paid.
90, 100, that's crazy. So you can't make me understand. You can't justify that to me. You can't. I don't care.
Well, I say this. The Canadian football game is the rules, the field, and everything else. It's not the players.
Exactly.
Because I told them, I said, if I went to the U.S. right now and we started CFL South, and you took the teams that had CFL teams before previously, instead of an XFL, you have a CFL South. You play the same Canadian rules.
But with all Americans.
You're playing with all Americans. You're still playing the Canadian football game.
Right.
It don't need a Canadian to play the Canadian football game.
No.
Right. So maybe that's an option too.
Okay, so going back to that, because we touched on that earlier in the interview. So my thing is, if the
oh, it's 31-17.
My Raiders getting busy. I'm checking Bleacher Report on my phone.
They up 31-17.
If an XFL, hush Lola, if the XFL or another spring league can really sustain itself, it's gonna hurt the Canadian Football League for sure. Because a guy that can make anywhere from $60,000 to $100,000 here at home and ain't got to change that money over, they ain't no way they going up north.
You know what hurts the CFL? You got to take the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
If you come in and say we're taking the quarterbacks, and last year there was 3 quarterbacks that made over $500,000 US.
Yeah.
Well, was supposed to make over $500,000 US. Well, if you look at the exchange rate, $500,000 US is about 700 to 720 Canadian.
Right, correct.
That means all 3 of those guys would have been the highest paid quarterback in the CFL. Because Mike only made like 705, Bo made 695, I think, or something like that.
Say only.
So
like,
therefore, no. But what I'm saying is that opens the door right there. If you come in and say we're taking Mike Riley, Bo Levi Mitchell, Trevor Harris, Vernon Adams, and if I want to go start a league and I get those 4 guys,
right?
Like what is CFL going to do? They're going to struggle.
Big time.
It's a passing league.
Right.
Yeah, there's more quarterbacks coming, but we'll just take them.
Well, I mean,
because you can't keep up with what we're paying.
No, you can't. Obviously, it's obvious now with Dwayne The Rock purchasing. And here's the thing: I don't know if he's just being a front man for McMahon or.
But I heard that they never going to play. So I heard there's $35 million worth of equipment. They paid $15 million for it, and if they turn around and flip it, they're going to make $20 million.
So he just basically they just getting people.
I don't know. That's just all I heard. I don't know, man. Look, I hear a lot of things, man. And let me say this, because I got a lot of Canadian fans out there that listen to this podcast. Don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah. Please don't.
No, you know what? Canadians get mad at me because I voice my opinion. And when we talk about stuff like this, I don't think they realize, as guys who played in that league for 10 plus years, I talked to the PA guys today, Solly and those guys. Dude, I love the CFL.
Absolutely.
I became a man in the CFL. You know what I'm saying? I got here at 21 years old, right? I turned down 12 NFL teams to stay in the CFL, right? I represent the CFL. Every time I go to the U.S., I represent the CFL. I was supposed to play in a charity all-star game, softball game in July this year with Matthew McConaughey and Toby Keith and Spud Webb and like so many names, Roger Clemens, and it's like so many other top guys from the NFL, MLB, all over. I was the only CFL player.
Right.
I was representing the CFL, right? I always want to show the people what this caliber is.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So I love the game. I don't want to ever, like if you're listening to this and you're Canadian, I don't want everyone to think I disrespect the league just because I call the faults of the league, because the league's not set up to grow.
Right.
Because there's no way the WNBA jumps from 150,000 minimum or maximum to 500,000 maximum in 1 year.
Well, here's the thing too, Nick, and I want to put emphasis on what you just said. I love the CFL too. CFL treated me real well for 11 years.
100%.
And I'm not complaining at all. However, I want to see that league grow. And
yeah.
Instead of promoting the league, because nobody hey, shout out to WB, man. We finally squashed that situation and we've been chopping it up. But let's be honest, nobody's coming to watch a coach the game. Yep. Nobody's coming to support the logo of the CFL. They want to see Nick Lewis. They want to see a Dante Marsh. They want to see a G-Roy Simon. They want a Mike Riley. They want to see these guys, Ricky.
Brian Burnham.
Yes, they want to see these guys.
Call him the ticket.
If you promote the guy, but see, I figured it out. If you promote the player so tough, Nick, now they're not disposable. Now it's going to be hard to get rid of them. So, I mean, I think it's like you said, it's something going on within the ownership of the league. And I know they know that if we start using the NFL model, we're going to have to give up some of this paper.
Yeah. And a couple of the owners have saved teams, right? Braley did save Toronto, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, you got to be grateful for the owners, but they also, I just think when you got guys that have made hundreds of millions of dollars, they can't all sit in a room and figure out how the CFL can make money. And when I could sit in a room with you and say, look, here's what we have. You're a player. I'm an owner. Coaches don't get no respect because they don't have they have no leverage anyway. But if the players and the owners sit in a room and said, let's grow this thing to where we all get paid, you think the players are going to say no?
No.
Like, that's the thing. Like, why do the owners feel like they're on the opposite side of the players?
Because that's how it is. Because you are you got to understand, you are the help. And this gonna go over. Listen, Nick. I'm just saying. Me and you know that's not true.
Yeah.
But this is the old school thought process behind because we live in America, brother. So let's just call it what it is. You are entertainment. You are disposable.
100%.
You are disposable pieces. Really, because even in the NFL, a lot of those guys are just because like I know, a lot of those guys are 100,000aires. Everybody don't have the Mahomes or the Brady contract or the Drew Brees. Those are up. That's like a very small percent. Everybody thinks
very small.
A billionaire. No, my homeboy played 7-8 years in the league. He never cracked a meal. He was like 600,000, 700,000. That's what it was, which is great money to the average person.
But when you get taxes, living expenses, agent fees, lawyer fees,
it's a wrap. And you
got 200,000 at the end of the year.
Got a $500,000 dude or a $800,000 dude playing on a team with a $40 million dude. Now that's your teammate. That's your coworker. Come on, you're gonna be kind of pushed to do things and do certain things that you really wouldn't be doing because your finances do not allow it the way it allows or affords these guys.
And you don't think that's your last contract anyway.
Right. We all think, man, we finna get
gotta get another contract. This is the first one.
Yeah. So that's what
my next one gonna be my best one. Exactly. What they say, your next move better be your best move.
So they don't understand that, these contracts to a regular everyday working person. That's why I can't read blogs and comments and stuff. Because you got a dude that work at a his regular day job. He's getting all offended. Well, brother, you know how hard it is to become that 1%?
Say it again.
You gonna get treated differently, brother. That's just what it is, brother.
You're doing only 1%. 2,300. Right. There's about 2,300 CFL, NFL players in the world.
That's crazy.
Like, think of that. Think how many people. There's billions of people.
Right.
You're less than 1%. So it's like 0.0001. Right.
So how can you sit there with a straight face? You listen. You don't have an inkling of an idea what stress is, brother. You get a 3-month, 6-month, 9-month evaluation on your job. We evaluate it every day.
Every day.
See, not only by your employer.
You give up 2 double moves you want to, Dante.
Look here, man. They gonna be bringing people in on Tuesday. What's going on?
Oh, you see it too. Hey, you see a new dude show up and he play your position.
Man, what you saying? You know what I'm saying? So they don't understand that. And
hey, what's your name is?
Real.
You gotta talk to him like Martin and Will on Bad Boys too.
Yeah. So no,
you too young to be up here.
Yeah, I agree with you though, man, and I'm all for that. So and I even told somebody if I had the opportunity to be an ambassador or be able to get into the office up there, I can definitely help in marketing for sure. Because that model, and that's no disrespect to whoever's in charge of that, but it's outdated and it's not.
Well, I got something for you coming. You just hold on those horses.
Hey man, I'm all for it, man. We got it.
You know one thing I love about Oakland is the vocabulary.
Oh yeah, we talk with it.
The vocabulary in Oakland. We talk about short earlier. We talk about E40, and you could just hear that it's a different vocabulary that come with people from Oakland.
Well, so
everybody but Smitty. Smitty's just pretty plain Jane.
Yeah. So to clarify, you got E40 is from Vallejo. So yeah. It's a little city. And I know you know, but for the people that don't know, the Bay Area is comprised of San Francisco, Oakland, East, West, North Oakland, East Palo Alto, San Jose, Berkeley, Richmond, Vallejo, Sacramento's not really considered the Bay. It's kind of out the way a little bit.
Out the way.
that's kind of,
Go north.
yeah, that's kind of the hub, right? So you could tell, you know what I'm saying, cats from San Francisco. Did you ever play with Lenny Walls?
Yeah, streets.
Yeah, Lenny, my guy.
2008.
Hey, he from the city. Now a lot of people that ain't from California think San Francisco on that funny business. No, sir. It's serious business over there in that city.
Yeah,
So
he doing well in San Antonio right now.
he is. I be seeing him. I follow him on the ground.
So him and Brandon Browner was the boundary half and boundary corner.
Yeah.
No 8.
6'5".
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just different though. But I say all that to say this, man. We're trendsetter-ish, if that makes sense. And
100%.
we just do what we do, and we embrace other people. Like I said, I talked about Master P earlier. Really getting the game from out here and really excelling because of him living in the Bay Area, right? And a lot of guys coming. We're just real receptive because we'll recognize real. A lot of people that's not from California think it's all LA.
Yeah.
Palm trees and Hollywood. Brother, that's a 5.5-hour drive away from where I'm at.
Hey, you know Alvin Bowen?
That name sound familiar.
He hang out with Marshawn and he played linebacker, went to Iowa State. That dude's a straight animal.
Word.
That dude used to work on the field. He got hurt a couple times in Calgary, and then like at linebacker though. Yeah. Ooh, that dude did work.
Bringing that thumper.
Mm.
So yeah, man. So people always think it's LA, but it's not, and we're so different because this state could really be 3 states. We got like over 40 people here, so it's a big state. It'll probably take you a whole day from end to end to drive through it. So, LA is a lot. Southern California is a lot different from Northern California.
Yeah.
I'm at. So I feel like we're more laid back and we're more down to earth, and we kind of can mingle with anybody. So that's the beauty. That's why I put on for where I'm from, and I love it to pieces, man. It taught me everything. It's helped me become the man I am today. And I don't regret my upbringing. I don't regret, because Oakland ain't Oakland no more. Really, gentrification is everywhere now. But it was a beautiful thing, and I'm glad that I was born in '79 and I came up in that golden era. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. When you look back at everything you've done, from the training, the coaching, the playing, the route you took to get to where you were, and to where you are today, when you think about leaving a legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Like what's on your mind? Like what's next for Dante? What is it that you want to accomplish, and what is the legacy you want to leave for your kids and everybody else?
The legacy I want to leave is I want to be a Hall of Famer. I'm not going to TO it,
Yeah.
I mean, because just getting nominated, just, you know what I'm saying? When I got that email, man, from Mark Vanovo, that felt, that in itself, if I say this with all sincerity, if it never happens, which I think it will and it should, I'm okay with that. I'm not gonna cry about it. It ain't because I know what I did, and it's set in stone. My name on that cup twice. I ain't got nothing else to prove, right?
Yep.
I would love to get one of them jackets. Yes, I would. But just when people, like, if somebody was reading my eulogy, they would say Dante Marsh was a great man. He wasn't perfect, but that dude impacted so many other people's lives. He helped X amount of players get Division I college scholarships, which I got about 9 or 10. Just a mentoring aspect, and it's not just limited to sports. Just he's a solid dude. Like you can't tarnish or blemish anything he was about, because he's so solid that if you saying something negative, you just hate him. Because dude really was a good dude, genuine dude, and he really was about helping people achieve stuff. So legacy for me would be, I think I've done enough in my football career to submit some of that part of my life.
Yep.
Now I'm on to what you was talking about. I'm on to maximizing and gaining my financial freedom. I'm comfortable. I'm okay right now, but I want to be very comfortable. So
I feel you.
That's my plan. So then, therefore, I can do things for other people, like my training. Yeah, I charge, but I'm not charging nowhere near what I could charge. but I want to be able to do things for free.
Yep.
That's my legacy, is like getting myself in a position of financial freedom to where everything is just free game. And that's really what I'm about. And I wanna do it big, dog. I wanna get a building in downtown Oakland, man, and put some computers in there. I want to run a mentor program. I want to make sure we have these inner city kids are getting these opportunities. Some of the education is subpar in the inner cities across America, and I know,
Yeah, you gotta live outside. You gotta live outside the city limits.
Yeah, so
to get the good education.
Right. I don't think that's that's sufficient. Especially here in this place we call America, where everything is supposed to be an abundance of great opportunity. So
yeah,
I'm passionate. And I wake up every day with a smile on my face because I know, I'm accomplishing things, and there's so much more out there for me to accomplish. And just with this platform, and we talked about it a few weeks ago with Ryan when we had you on.
Yeah,
I'm definitely down for that. I have an entrepreneurial spirit. I've jumped into coaching, and I'm doing what I love to do. I really don't have any complaints, but legacy for me is
he just hit the 55-yarder, 10-point game with a minute to go.
Hey man,
look like that's a wrap. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, you good?
But that's your boys. You know what I'm saying? That's your boys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So Nick, I'm pretty sure we have a lot of the same sentiments when we talk about legacy, man. As the older I've gotten less and less all football.
Yep.
I did what I did, man. It's cool. I ain't arguing. I'm tripping. I'm chilling rather. So yeah, legacy for me will be how many more people I can impact in a positive manner.
That's awesome.
On their thing, and I say this with all sincerity. This ain't no BS. This ain't no bullshit. This is straight up and down from the bottom of my heart. I just love it, man, because I was blessed and fortunate to have some support by a lot of both my parents, obviously my mother and my father, but I had coaches and a few teachers that impacted my life greatly, along with my parents, to help me get to where I am today. So that's what I want to be remembered for. Like, how many people's lives did he help change in a positive way? That's got to be the legacy.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. For me, I find this is very good because me and you have never really sit down and talked like this before.
We haven't.
Right.
I'm getting a different view of some Nick Lewis.
Because, I was really an alter ego. People always talk about, you got all these alter egos, you got all these names, but that's who I was.
Yeah.
Because I knew who I was as a person, wasn't the type of person that can go out there and do what I did. So I created that mentality. I had to create that dog-like mentality, and through that created those characters that was like, it's like WWE, that I can go out there and I can go get it in with anybody.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? When I step between those lines, it's a different dude. But outside the lines,
go in the phone booth and change, baby.
That's it. But they say you never want to fight Superman in the phone booth.
That's what you don't want to do.
So yeah, and that's the biggest thing for me is like now to sit down and to hear the stories and to hear the passion and to hear all these things that have created such these great athletes. Right? Everybody's got a different path. Everybody's got a different story.
Right.
And I think that the CFL, I know, and there's other sports too, that don't do a great enough job of justifying and utilizing these stories that need to be told.
You're right.
Right? Man, there's so many. There's so many. I'm a D2 walk-on, man. I was just happy to be there.
But see, you eclipsed all that.
Yeah, and then I remember one time. I tell you what gave me, because I did well in rookie camp.
Mm-hmm.
Going into main camp, I already looked at the roster. I already knew who the receivers were. Albert Connell, Wayne McGarity, all those guys, Salacio. I'm like, okay, this is where I got to be. And I remember one day during the season, I don't remember when it was, but one day during the season, we're standing around watching the defense. And Wayne McGarity says, you're probably the best receiver I've seen just straight out of college up here in the CFL. To just come straight out of college to the CFL, you're one of the best ones. Man, I appreciate that.
Hey,
But that gave me so much power because now it's like he's saying I'm better than other people. That's not coming from me, right? So now that gave me so much power and vision into okay, let's double down on it then.
right.
Because like your first year, you just trying to find your way. You just trying to ball.
Yeah, because it
You just
was.
trying to ball because you trying to keep a job. You know how hard it is to keep a job.
But see, once again, you alluded to it earlier. A lot of people don't know how difficult it is to make a Canadian Football League team.
Yeah.
And it's harder than an NFL team because, mind you, there's no mini camps. They just start doing that within the last 10 years. I never was a part of a mini camp. They were paying the Flyers nowhere. So you got 2 weeks 3 weeks to show what you got, and if you don't make an impression, you out of there. Ain't no.
If you get hurt, you out of there.
$20 in the loony.
There's a dinner on Delta.
That's it. So you're so right, man. We need to grow this, and a lot of these stories need to be told. Cause see, a lot of people don't know this, Nick. I was out of football 3 years before I went up to tournament.
Really?
Yeah. I left Fresno State. I thought I was gonna be a late round draft pick, which was what I was told. I trained in LA with T.J. Hushmanzada, Ocho. We was all getting it. I watched Saturday and Sunday that draft. Didn't get no call. I got calls Friday. Like, where you gonna be at? I'm all excited. It never happened. About 10 minutes after the draft, I started getting calls in Tennessee. Hey, we want you. You want to be a Titan? Okay, cool. Go to Tennessee. One of my quarterbacks from Fresno State was there, Billy Volick, who ended up finishing up with the Chargers, backing up. He was already there. Chuck Cecil was the safeties coach, and I kind of had an indirect relationship with him because one of my coaches coached him, at Arizona.
Yep.
So,
he's bringing that wood too.
Yeah, it was all laid out. I'm the only free agent corner they brought in. They drafted my homeboy Andre Dyson, Kevin's younger brother.
Mm-hmm.
I was the only free agent corner, so I did so well in training camp. I'm making the team, and I get hurt against the Chicago Bears in preseason. So I sat out the whole 01 regular season, all of 02 and 03. Then get up to Canada and have an 11-year career in Canada. So I have.
That's a blessing.
Yeah, it is.
That's a blessing.
And the injury I had to my shoulder was damn near like whatchamacallit, from Swaggerville.
Hef.
Yep. Jonathan Hef. It wasn't that bad because it didn't get my neck, but nerve damage, it was basically career ending.
Yeah.
So by the grace of God and just, me knowing that I still had it in me to really get out there and do my thing, I pressed through, man, and like I said, it was a blessing, and I'm so thankful for the connect Bobo Bilovich and Wally Bruno bringing me on up there and allowing me to do my thing. So, for those watching it, like we talked about earlier, I have the utmost love and respect for the city of Vancouver. I was also blessed and fortunate to spend my entire Canadian Football League career on the West Coast, being a California kid. One team, very successful during my tenure there, and
yep.
I'm thankful. So
we got to play with some other Hall of Famers.
Yes.
That's one of the best parts, man. I look, sometimes I was like, man, I got to sit up with John Bowman and S.J. Green and Cope and Rambo and Joffrey and Cornish and Hank and Kevin. And, there's so many names that's in there that's like, dude.
Yeah.
I even look at Hall of Fame quarterbacks. I stood up with Dave, Danny McManus.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Hank, KG, probably missing some, but it's just one of those things where it's like, dude,
hey,
Kahari, it's truly a blessing, man, to know that what you got to do and people respect and love it.
Absolutely, and I think the bigger thing for me is when I talk to other players. Like I've talked to SJ, I've talked via social media. I've talked to Ron, Chris
Williams.
Chris Williams, that was in Hamilton.
Yeah.
I talk to these guys, and they're like, hey, so for me, that meant more to me ultimately than what any reporter thought or whatever, or no, with some of these fans, because a lot of people up there, they don't understand the game enough to know that it's not all interceptions. That could be really misleading. Like you talking about this dude in the run game hitting people like a safety.
It's like Brandon Smith, man.
He can cover.
I think Brandon Smith was the best to do it.
Smitty did
That's
it.
me personally, man.
And that's my alma mater. So I don't have
Yeah.
issue with that. A lot of people, he not gonna have hella picks though. So
No.
people don't understand, but he did his thing. Just like I only had 33, but I also played in the
You say
boundary.
only 33.
Oh, no, but Nick, but see, here's the
You know how
thing.
many people get 20?
Oh, I know, and that's why I be saying like, but I played in the boundary.
That'd
And
be
for
like me saying, like, I know some of the receivers like Bill Allen Pitts, everybody had over 100 and G Roy. That's like me saying, man, I only had 71 touchdowns.
that's a
Like,
feat. That's a
come
feat.
on, man. 33? That's a
Okay, but what I'm
you can't
saying,
say only with 33.
but I'm just saying I should have had 40 something. But here's the thing: I played in the boundary, and like I know, the two DBs that play that boundary corner boundary half, that's the hot spot. So
Yeah.
usually put two of they two best receivers. The top three receivers gonna be the boundary wide out. I mean the slot. The X became more of the guy, and then that
Yep.
number three strong. So them
Mm-hmm.
three dudes were the highest paid dudes up there, and Lee Banks and Ryan had to cover that. So for me, I'm not saying only, but compared to some other guys that had the opportunity. Now, if I would have got to stay up there, a little longer because when it was over, team still reached out to me at 37.
Yeah.
I could have cheated and went to safety and got about 10, 12 picks, but I didn't get that opportunity. So my whole point is I'm saying like, man, once again, I'm just thankful. I can't even
100%.
express, how thankful I am. And it's always a treat to talk to, because, I'm talking to a mature Nick Lewis. You're talking to a mature. I'm like, man, Nick he ain't an asshole, man. Like, cause like when we got Arlen, like, look, so when we got Arlen, right, this is how I know it's crazy. So competing against Arlen Bruce, covering him every now and then, because he always was like other places, but playing against him, we know Arlen was a dude.
Yeah.
So for him to come to BC when we won in 2011 Grey Cup, and just now I'm in the locker room sitting next to this dude, hey, 3-1. He never called me Dante or Marsh. He's like 3-1. Arlen a little different. So this was a breath of fresh air, right? So then G Roy had it was a Batman Robin type thing, because we had a lot of young guys. Once Thelwell left Claremont, like we were kind of depleted. It was just G Roy, and then we had the Arsenal and guys like that. So getting Arlen in to kind of be the other star receiver really helped us to get to that point. So anyway, having that dude on your team opposed to playing against him, thinking he was this way, and then you playing with him like, dog, I go to war with you any day of the week. Man, you tripping? He a dog. And just like David Sanchez, like I hated David Sanchez. We played the same position. I was like, man, this cocky man, But then when he came later in his career to BC, like how me and you talking, I didn't know he thought that highly of me.
Yeah.
And like, dog, hey, I tell you, hey. And this is like not even in some joking shit. Like we had some real intimate, outings, us the players. And when you hear another player that you competed against speak about you, that's when what I mean.
It hit different.
It hit way different. Like, damn, I thought you thought I was weak. No, but we gotta think that when we compete, because man, fuck him, So this,
I can hear Rainbow yell at you now. Hey.
Yep. So it's one of those.
Coach, he gonna sit on everything, Coach. Let me hit that move. Let me hit that stutter comeback.
Hey, I remember early in the game, y'all was like, hey, Marsh, get ready for that stutter and go. I'm like, man, I know it's coming. I just don't know when it's coming. I'm jumping some shit. I got to. But yeah, man, that's the dope part for me, man, is having these outlets, because now we can reflect on things. And also, I was telling somebody else, people get to see the real us, and they don't know how articulate and well spoken we are. This play football, brother. Like, come on, man, we just look like that. we actually.
One thing before we get up off here.
Yes, sir.
Where'd you get your style from?
My style play.
Like your style of play.
So when I was at Fresno State, there was a bunch of guys. One of my one of my DB coaches who ended up got into coaching after his NFL career. He was a first-round draft pick out of Fresno too, J.D. Williams.
Yeah.
He taught me a lot of stuff, and then like I always had like the swag since Pop Warner. Like everything had to be right. That was me. That was always me. I watched, in terms of the CFL game, I used to watch Omar because he was older than me.
Omar Evans?
Morgan.
Omar Morgan. Okay.
That's one. So he was at BYU, and I was a young pup at Fresno.
Yep.
I kind of watched the far back then. And when I got up to Canada, I watched Davis and Omar, and then Omar Evans and Ill Will. Those are the guys I watched to kind of learn the Canadian game. But you know, the real low and that was me. But what I did was
Omar Morgan used to sit on stuff too.
Yeah, I learned it though. Like I had Coach Hollywood. He was on the staff my first year up there, and he was like, Dante, you fast, bro. You could cover. You so quick. And sometimes that was getting me in trouble because in the CFL, as you know, the field bigger. So you break on an out, you still got 6 yards. You know what I mean? And he was like, Carl Kidd told me. So real quick story. We're playing Edmonton my first year up there in 2004. It's like game 3. Man, Ed Hervey got hurt, so they threw Jason Tucker at the X. Listen to me. I thought I was getting cut. Hey. Nick, listen to me.
Jay Tuck was that dude, man.
Was that dude. Listen to me. He put that big ass helmet down and stuff. So look.
He don't stick no routes either.
None. He just was rolling. And I'm talking about, I have pictures. I got my hand on the ball, he still catch it. I tipped the ball, he still catch it. It wasn't nothing I could do that night. Everything was going downhill for me. And Terry Vaughn was, we gonna get your ass cut, boy. You getting cut out this game. And my head was just down in the dirt. So I just accepted. I'm like, man, yeah, Wally gonna cut me.
They had Mookie.
And they was
Hervey, Tuck,
yeah.
Terry Vaughn.
Right. Well, Rick, it was Jason Moss, I want to say.
Yeah, because Ricky Ray came back in 2005.
Yes, yeah. So they lighten me up. Nigga, we ain't cover 3. I can't make a play. Like, it's just, like I said, I'm tipping the ball. He's still catching it. He had at least 100-some yards and 2 touchdowns, right? So I say all this to say that. Nick, I say all that to say this. I studied film. I was always a good film study guy. So I watched Terry. I studied the film. So I'm hella quick. I was always real quick breaking and shit. So I watched the film. Now I'm getting destroyed this game to my standards, right? So I'm like, fuck it. I'm going home. Wally gonna cut me, whatever. Just finish the game and let me get out of here. I'm sick of this shit. So Terry Vaughn, since I watch film, Terry Vaughn never lines up at 1 week at the X. Never. He's a slot guy, and like because he was like a running back type, and they gonna throw him slants and bubbles and all this type stuff. So he lines up. They gotta get in field goal range to win the game. He lines up at 1 week on me. Now, mind you, I'm in the dump. I'm in the funk this game. I'm like, I'm going home. They cutting me, all the shit. As soon as he lined up, it went on.
Screen.
At 1 week, they running the screen. Nick, I didn't even take a step back. He took 1 step forward. I shot out of my back pedal. 8-yard loss. We win the game. I say all that to say this. That was one of the defining moments because later, years later, Wally said, yeah, Dante, you know, my sense is, man, and people were calling for your head early in your career, but I knew better. So, I was getting my ass kicked that game, but I made the play to win the game, and, the rest is history. But, yeah, man.
That's it. I tell my kids, you can have bad plays, but don't have bad days.
That part.
Right?
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Absolutely.
Man, I appreciate you for coming on, man. You got any last words of wisdom for the people? Anything you want to say before we get up off here?
I'm just, once again, I'm thankful for all the opportunities that have been afforded to me. Young people, please listen to older people. Be a sponge, get a mentor. Don't think you know it all. We're not old, lame, old heads. We're not. We're the young, older dudes. Like, we're the young version of the older dudes. And if it's one thing that I would highly stress is, yes, definitely get a mentor. Find somebody that's been successful doing what you aspire to do. Because there's too many young guys who think they know it all, but they don't know anything. And they're missing out on all these nuggets by not wanting to get around an older guy and get that game. So that, and just I appreciate you having me, brother. And I anytime I do it, just let me know. And I want to build. That's what we are about, building.
That's it, man. I appreciate you for coming on.
Likewise.
It's been another episode of the Lulu Logic Podcast, and we out.